Hello, hello, hello. I have a very fun episode for you today. One of my friends, Sarah, her Instagram handle is Sarah Flips It on Instagram, is always going on these really fun girls' weekends with other gals that have DIY accounts. So, Sarah has a DIY account. She flips furniture, she does a bunch of DIY projects, and she goes on these trips with other girls who do similar, in the online space. They do, I want to say like 2 to 3 trips a year. Again, I just watch her Instagram stories, totally stalking this, but I think they go on like 2 to 3 trips a year and they meet up in a really fun place and they get an Airbnb and they hang out. And I've watched her now go on several of these trips and I have major FOMO, okay? To the point where I thought recently, maybe I should just start a DIY account so that I can try and sneak myself onto the invite list for these trips. No joke. That's what I've been thinking about. These trips are not paid, meaning that you don't have to like pay to like be in the room. You just pay your own way, and then everyone is there to support each other and hang out and have fun and just be in good company. And I've also seen other people go on trips like this, and they just seem like so much fun. So after Sarah's last trip that she went on, and then also my trip to Nashville with Kajabi, and just being in the room there in Nashville with such amazing human beings, I thought, why don't I create a space like that? And so I did. Late one night, I decided to just send it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to create this room and I'm just going to see how this goes. So I had 3 people top of mind that I had just connected with. So one of them, we had actually met up in person at a conference in the past, and then I had her on my podcast, and another person I had on my podcast, and then one of the other people was like a student of mine in the past, and we've just been friends online since. And so those were the 3 that came to my mind, and I reached out to them via direct message, and I was like, "Hey, can you shoot me over your phone number? I have something that I want to invite you to." And I got their phone numbers, I put them all into a group chat, and I shared my idea about meeting up and sharing an Airbnb, and everyone pays their own way. And then, you each invite one person. So we have a really fun group. And immediately everyone was like, yeah, let's do it. This sounds like it's going to be so much fun, which was like a huge weight lifted off my shoulders, a huge relief because I don't know why, but of course, my brain is like, what if you text these people and they think that this is like the worst and stupidest idea in the entire world? That's what my brain was thinking about. So I sent the message in the group chat and I was just like anxiously awaiting for the first person to respond. And Bailey was the first person to respond. Her Instagram handle is Honeywave Creative, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I was hoping that this was like what you were going to invite me to," and I was like, "Ah, yay!" So that was like a huge relief. And out of those initial 3 gals that I sent messages to, one of them couldn't go because of just scheduling conflict, and so I found someone else to come in her place. And then those initial 2 other gals, they invited 3 other people, so we had a group of 7 people, and we were all in this group chat together. And I sent out a poll in the group chat with just some different locations that we might want to meet up, and we decided on Austin because that was the most central location. We were coming from all over the United States. Like, I was coming from Idaho, someone was coming from California, Florida, Louisiana, like just kind of all over the place. And then once we decided on Austin, I sent over a few Airbnb options that would have enough space for us for our big group, and we voted on that. And then from there, I booked the Airbnb, I paid for it, and then I just had people reimburse me for their share. So we just split the Airbnb equally, and then we all coordinated our flights, what day we would fly in, what day we would fly out. We tried to fly in and fly out around ish the same time, which ended up actually working out really, really well. And then Bailey, she actually drove in, and so she was our chauffeur for the weekend. But if she hadn't brought a car, we would have just Ubered, but obviously that was super convenient of her to be able to drive in. And then in the weeks leading up to the retreat, I had my AI agent plan out the entire trip, including like meals, what restaurants we were going to eat at, the agenda, booking reservations for those restaurants. So for dinners and breakfast, I made sure that that was booked out because we had a big group and we were there on a weekend inside of like a big city. So I just wanted to make sure that we could get into places. And then I also had my agent create a super cute landing page. And I talked about this inside of Our Rich, and I showed an example inside of there. but it was a super cute landing page that had all of the trip details, like the Airbnb address and everyone's arrival and departure. And there was like a countdown timer. And then there was an agenda for the weekend, just broken up by day. And I sent that over to everyone to have. And I think I sent that out like maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks prior for us leaving. Now, sadly, during the 2 weeks of leading up to the retreat, three people couldn't go. So instead of the seven that we originally had, we ended up with four, but it was still an absolute blast. And I just absolutely love those gals so much. I'm of course so sad that the other people couldn't come, but hopefully maybe in future retreats then that's a possibility. So it was Bailey and then me and Kelly. Her Instagram handle is Sit with Kelly, and then Sakil, her Instagram handle is Sakil Taylor. And it was really fun because we're all in like different niches. We all have different backgrounds, and so that was really fun to like come into the room and we all had different perspective and experiences and different offers that we were running, and it was just really cool to be in a room with other people who do what you do. And schedule wise, I'll give you a brief rundown just in case you ever want to put together one of these, which I highly recommend doing. That's what this whole entire podcast episode is about, is to hopefully inspire you to go create your own room. But I wanted to give you a starting place. Of course, you don't have to run it like this, but this is the way that I had it structured. And this was my first time ever doing anything like this. And if I were to go back and change anything, I actually wouldn't change anything. I loved the way that this was structured, and I came away with a lot. And I know that everyone else came away with a lot from that weekend as well. I mean, like I might tweak a few different things, but overall, it was like really awesome. So the first day was a half day because we traveled in. So we traveled in on a Friday. And we, after picking up everyone from the airport, we went to the Airbnb. We chatted there for a while. We changed our clothes, and then we headed to our first dinner, as if we had two dinners that same day. No, our dinner reservation, and we chatted a lot at dinner. And then we came back. We were all really tired because a lot of us had caught flights like super early that morning. Like I think I was up at like 4 o'clock that morning traveling. So we chatted, and then we went to bed pretty early. And then the second day, that was our only full day that we had during the weekend. And so we really truly made the most out of that. I made breakfast at the Airbnb. So I ordered Instacart, of course, very on brand for me, but I ordered Instacart to the Airbnb. And so we had a bunch of snacks. And then I made breakfast for them. And then we did 4 hours of masterminding. I don't really know what the, I guess, plural of that is. We had a great mastermind session. Maybe I'll just say that. And what that included is we had each person basically hop on the hot seat, and they would have 5 minutes to present their number one bottleneck or the number one problem in their business. So just sharing whatever that was. And then the rest of us who were not on the hot seat, asked that person questions for 10 minutes to get context and just to understand more of the ins and outs of their business, how things were ran. And then we spent 5 minutes brainstorming quietly to ourselves, just figuring out, what advice would we give this person? If we were in their position, how would we solve this problem? And then we spent about 30 to 40 minutes per person presenting our solutions and just chatting about how to actually implement that solution. And it was really cool. And what was cool about it too is because we were all coming from, the online space, even if we weren't all running the same businesses, like there were still things where even if I wasn't on the hot seat, like I was still getting good, juicy ideas that I could implement into my own business, just listening to the solutions from other people as well. And then after that, we went to lunch, and then we came back from lunch and we did like an implementation action session where we all took one thing from our morning session, so our solution session, to work on. And so that way, like the goal wasn't to just like, oh, you have a bunch of different ideas and then you walk away from the weekend being like, okay, now I have like 5 million things to implement, but being able to like have the solution to your problem and then implementing part of the solution, right? And so that way you at least create some momentum leaving the weekend versus thinking, oh my gosh, I have to start all of this, by myself. And, what if I have questions that come up? And so it was kind of like a co-working session where we were all working, but we were still chatting. We talked a lot about AI. We were giving each other ideas. We talked about, just different insights and different experiences and like, oh, I would do this, or like, hey, I'm struggling setting this up, like can we troubleshoot this? And so that was really fun. And then we got dressed, we went into dinner, in the city, and we ended up meeting up with someone that I had been put in touch with from someone else that I had invited for the Austin like weekend, but she wasn't able to come. But she was like, "Hey, I used to live in Austin. I know that this gal Emily is in Austin. You should reach out to her." And so I reached out to Emily. Her name is Emily Hirsch. I think that's what her Instagram handle is too. And she is an absolute gem. I'm so glad that I reached out to her. She came to dinner, and then we had like dessert afterwards, and we just spent, I don't know, like maybe 2-3 hours chatting with her, and it was really fun to learn from her and hearing about her business, and just getting to know a new person. So that was really fun to do that for the evening. And then we came back and we ended up working, I think, till like 2 a.m. And just like talking. And we were like pulling up YouTube videos and like watching different things, like, walking through a lot of AI too. We're like, oh, like you should try out this. And we were trying out different prompts. And like, it was really fun. So, like I said, we were up really late that night. And then we woke up the next day, and that was our next like travel day. So that's when we were leaving. And we had breakfast downtown. Again, we were just chatting. We just did a lot of chatting, a lot about business, a lot about life. And then we had a checkout of our Airbnb at 11. And so we went to a cute coffee shop, and we just continued working and chatting and masterminding for a few hours before we caught our flights. So it was a quick weekend. But we covered so much ground. I feel like I know these people, like these humans inside and out, in the best way. And it was really fun getting to know them, and just like having an Airbnb together. Like it's very intimate. It's different than like being at a hotel where you all have your own hotel rooms. And it was really fun. A really fun time. And moral of the story here for you is, if you're not getting invited and you're looking at, maybe my mastermind weekend in Austin, you're like, oh my gosh, that'd be so fun one day. It's like, go out and build the room. Like, don't wait to get an invite. Be the one to create it. And what you build, it doesn't have to be structured the way that I built it. It doesn't have to be a mastermind. It could just be a space where you're getting together. The options are unlimited because you are the creator. So reach out to people that you would love to meet in real life. And, they don't have to be in the same niche as you. They don't have to have the same amount of followers as you. Like, just put yourself out there. Ask for go out and ask people that you would love to be in the room with, and go somewhere really cool and eat lots of good food, and maybe chat about AI, or solve some problems, or just maybe even just go to the spa together. Whatever it is that you want to do, go out and do that thing. And I hope that this inspires you to go out and build the room. Thank you for tuning into this episode. I'll catch you on the next one.